Hi everyone, this is new video about Xiaomi 15 Ultra.
The previous Ultra, with the same 1-inch main Sony sensor, in my opinion, captured shots as close as any phone has yet come to emulating what you might more readily expect from the best cameras. Most of the best camera phones, the Pixels and Galaxies of the world, take technically excellent smartphone photos, replete with tone mapping and HDR processing, detail enhancement, and face brightening. While the 15 Ultra has access to all these same tricks, however, it handles images very differently, more authentically. Xiaomi's processing isn't as technically savvy as, say, Google's, and the camera system can be a little inconsistent, especially with attributes like white balance and edge detection, much like on the 14 Ultra, but it doesn't shy away from contrast and shadow, which when twinned with the natural depth effect afforded to that 1-inch sensor, can help you capture truly arresting shots without really trying. Add to that the Pro Mode manual controls and baked-in Leica filters, and there's a lot you can do with that main snapper, without the need for post-capture editing. The OLED 50MP sensor is just the start, of course. The reason this phone's camera system looks so physically different to its predecessors is because Xiaomi needed to make room for a huge new 1/1.4-inch telephoto sensor, up from 1/2.51 inches. The 200MP Samsung ISOCELL HD9 that Vivo put to work on its most recent flagship, the X200 Pro, now also finds a home on the 15 Ultra. Here, it serves up an equivalent 100mm focal length, and helps build on the existing camera system's impressive versatility. That large size means it's able to take in far more light than your average periscopic telephoto sensor. Xiaomi claims 136% more than the 14 Ultra's equivalent, but it's also likely the reason why the 15 Ultra lost out on its predecessor's mechanical aperture. There just wasn't room. As trade-offs go, it's a compromise I welcome, as this higher fidelity telephoto is far more practical across zoom, portrait, and even macro shooting. Speaking of macro, one of the biggest limitations of such a large main sensor is its minimum focal range, which is why it's a relief that the automatic macro mode kicks in and switches to a pleasingly competent ultra-wide. No longer being unable to stop down in particularly bright shooting scenarios may irk videographers, but at least the photography kit allows for ND filters and the like, even if that's more of a band-aid than a solution. As well as filters, Leica's involvement expands to two shooting profiles, Leica Vibrant, the default on Xiaomi's phones, and the more muted Leica Authentic, see above. While some high-quality filters can be activated in camera too, the monochromatic blue was a personal highlight. Xiaomi made a big song and dance about the 14 Pro's video chops, even though stabilization at some resolutions was terrible at launch, later fixed via software updates. Thankfully, that doesn't appear to be a problem with the 15 Ultra's videography skills. You can switch between all the phone's rear sensors while recording at up to 4K per 30 frames per second, with options for 4K per 120 frames per second, and even 8K per 30 frames per second capture, if desired. The 15 Ultra also joins an exclusive group, by being the only other phone besides the iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 16 Pro lines to support ACES, Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, log video capture, alongside Dolby Vision recording, making it a powerful choice for serious videographers, especially those who prefer Android to iOS. As with the rest of 2025's Android flagship contingent so far, the 15 Ultra arrives running on Qualcomm's latest Snapdragon 8 Elite chipset, in most regions accompanied by 16GB of RAM and 512GB or 1TB of the fastest and most power-efficient UFS 4.1 storage on the market. There is a 12GB RAM/256GB version that's trickier to come by. Xiaomi says the chip serves up 45% better multi-core CPU performance compared to the 14 Ultra. Artificial benchmarking places on equal footing with the recent Honor Magic 7 Pro, and the company even featured a slide during its Chinese launch, highlighting every aspect in which it trumps the iPhone 16 Pro Max, including gaming and networking performance. A new dual-channel ice loop vapor chamber offers enhanced cooling, which in real-world testing ensured that even after an hour's gameplay on a demanding title like Senna's Zone Zero with cranked visual settings, i.e. 60 frames per second instead of 30 frames per second, the phone never rose past a slight warmth. Game Turbo is also on hand to prioritize gaming performance, while also silencing notifications and the like, although finding how to bring the app onto your home screen to manage installed games takes some doing. Hint, it's hidden within Xiaomi's security app, of all places. As with every other phone that relies on the Snapdragon 8 Elite, it offers buckets of headroom, ensuring whatever phone it's in will feel fast and remain capable longer than most others in the long term. Xiaomi's latest hypercore technology then sits on top, better managing resource allocation, so that opening and reopening apps is faster, meaning less time staring at those initial splash screens than before. While Xiaomi hasn't disclosed why, as with the Honor Magic 7 Pro, the international version of the Xiaomi 15 Ultra packs in a smaller battery, 5,410 mAh, compared to the Chinese variant, 6,000 mAh. That said, 5,410 mAh is still pretty capacious, and Xiaomi's CC Surge battery tech offers up increased capacity, without adding additional bulk to the phone's design. Apple and Samsung should take notes. True to the brand, fast charging is part of the equation here, with the same impressive 90W wired and 80W wireless charging support. Just don't expect a charger inbox in Europe or the UK. If you are able to source the correct adapter, at standard speeds the 15 Ultra refilled to 56% in 30 minutes, and hit 100% after 67 minutes. If you dip into the phone's battery settings, however, you can enable top speed mode, which warns of more noticeable warmth when charging, in the pursuit of faster recharge speeds. When enabled, the phone hit 44% in 30 minutes and 100% in 50. If you're the forgetful type, top speed mode might better serve you, otherwise the results, to me, suggest it's better to leave the phone in standard charging mode, which should still prove quick enough for most users, and will likely prolong battery health. While benchmarking using PCMark 3.0's battery test dished out an impressive score on par to the Ultra's most like-minded and similarly capacious CC battery coding rivals, real-world longevity underwhelmed at only 7 hours of use per charge. That equates to a day's use, but considering the battery tech, system improvements, and capacity of the cells, I would have expected closer to the Magic 7 Pro, which has a marginally smaller battery but lasted 45% longer in testing.
So this is more information about Xiaomi 15 Ultra. I hope like this phone and this video. So don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Bye bye.